33% of American Jews think Israel's doing a genocide. That's 1/3 of American Jews agree Israel committed genocide in Gaza. Over 51% of American Jews support Biden's decision to withhold arms shipments to Israel, survey finds. That is fucking nutty, dude. Fuck you, HasanAbi. If someone kidnapped any of my family members, I would gladly kill 1,000 people to have them return with absolutely no regret. You are a disgusting human being. Bro, how many of your family members would you kill, though? Because Israel has killed so many hostages, you dumb fuck. You are such a stupid... You are so stupid. I mean, not only are you wrong, because that's insane. Killing 1,000 random people and including some of your members of your fucking family is ridiculous. Yeah, Israel rescued 4 hostages and apparently possibly killed 3. So how is that random? I would kill 1,000 of the hostage takers. They're not the hostage takers, you fucking idiot. That's the whole point. You think every Palestinian, including the Palestinian babies, including the Palestinian women, are fucking hostage takers. You're a dumbass. And also, if you have that level of smoke, let me ask you this, okay? Let me seriously ask you this. What would you do if a bunch of people at gunpoint forced you into a fucking prison, moved you away from your homes, raped and killed your fucking ancestors, okay? And then relegated you to second-class citizenship for 75 fucking years? What would you do? Would you have that same smoke? And I think you would have that same level of smoke. This is precisely the reason why so many fucking like prominent Israeli politicians, leaders of Shin Bet, have openly stated that they would, of course, given the opportunity, if they were born on the other side of the fucking fence, they absolutely would join any number of different terrorist groups. Okay? Tell Chowder that many of the residents of border communities disagree with them. Exactly. There were hella people in the Gaza envelope that live in the fucking kibbutzim that immediately after October 7, on October 8, we're talking about the war and against revenge and calling for a political solution. It's so fucking funny that people take this like aggro ass stance when there's like people that were fresh off of like watching their fucking family members get killed, turning around and being like, this is ridiculous. We have to put an end to this fucking bloodshed. I don't see this as anything other than you would do a million October 7s. Think about how many fucking Palestinians are unjustly in permanent administrative detention, in occupied territory, in fucking in the West Bank. People who are in their 20s are avenging ancestors who died before they were born. That's completely different from living relatives that need avenging. Wait, what? Bro, I think at a certain point you have to recognize that like damn near the entirety of the Palestinian resistance is comprised of people who have been orphaned by Israel. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not just their ancestors, dumbass. It's an ongoing thing. I don't know if you realize that the apartheid is still happening. Okay? I just gave you an example. I gave you an example of how the apartheid works, and you conveniently ignored that. Imagine saying like 75 years of fucking brutal occupation and apartheid is just like, it's actually ancient history. How is that fucking ancient when you're still living in it, dumbass? No need to think. 3,600 are in administrative detention now and 800 in prison without a trial as illegal combatants. Also, chatter, 53.5% of Gaza children had PTSD before the war. Exactly. When I say ancestors, I don't mean 3,000 years ago, okay? Which is ironic because that is the literal argument for many Zionists. You have no leg to stand on, chatter. You got a fucking response to this or what? I'm here, man. I have arrived. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to this guy, Figgy 20,000. Aren't 50% of the population under 18? You're claiming that Israel has killed more than 2 million people in the last 18 years. You're just wrong about... Wait, what? Unless you're claiming that Israel's killed more than 2 million people in the last 18 years, you're just wrong about all of them being orphans? Do you think the entirety of the Palestinian resistance is actually 2 million people in Gaza? And that every single person has one child? How do you think math works? Okay? If we're talking about just the Al-Qassam brigades, okay, and it's not just Gaza for the record, it's also orphans from motherfucking, other areas where Palestinian refugees live as well. Do you think that this works in like as in every single person has only one parent and that parent was killed? Is that how this works? Or do you think that Palestinian resistance, specifically if we're talking about like Al-Qassam, for example, is comprised of what? 10,000, 20,000 people, many of which might be fucking brothers from the same parent, having one parent fucking killed or both parents killed. Do you think that that's that crazy? You told me if someone kidnapped any of your family members, you'd gladly kill 1,000 people to have them return. There are more than 3,000 Palestinians in administrative detention, which is unjustifiable, illegal, in occupied territory. Okay? So how many Israelis do you kill in that regard then? Or how many Israelis do you kidnap in that situation? There's a massive difference between avenging a living relative and trying to justify the October raid avenging no one. I didn't do it. You did. I didn't do that. You did. Except you did it with defending Israel. But when the roles are reversed, because you don't personally think Palestinians are human beings, you have no way of understanding that like what you are saying is a justification for October 7th. I never defended it. I never justified it. You did. You did that. You're the one making excuses for the October 7th killings. Then one really living relative that they rescued on October 7th. Wait, brother, you are literally failing to comprehend. This is a justification for October 7th. What you're doing here is a justification for October 7th. Okay? This right here. If someone kidnapped any of my family members, I would gladly kill 1,000 people to have them return with absolutely no regret. You are a disgusting human being. Okay? I didn't do that. You did that. Will the chatter get it? No, he will not. He doesn't understand that that goes both ways, but because he thinks that it's totally valid to do that to Palestinian people, or because he's oblivious to the ways in which the Israeli apartheid works, he doesn't fucking understand it. I'm really waiting for when you're going to tell me when Palestine rescued anyone on October 7th. Rescued anyone on October 7th. There was a hostage swap negotiation put in front of the Israeli government on like October 10th. What do you think that was about? What do you think a hostage swap is? Also, they rescued a ton of Palestinians from Israeli prisons when the ceasefire agreement was implemented for 7 days. And there was hundreds of Palestinians that were released from Israeli prisons. So technically, they did release a shit ton of Palestinians actually from prison. They did a hostage swap. Did you forget? So what happened there? Way more Israeli hostages were released in times of peace and negotiation in the limited ceasefire that took place for 7 days. And Israel has killed more hostages than it has extracted. So what does that say about the violent means in which Israel tries to tackle this situation? It was this kind of sentiment from insane people like this, my grandfather, that made me first question Israel. Are you used to claiming that Israel is executing the prisoners? What do you think that happens to the hostages that stay in Gaza? Am I claiming that Israel is executing prisoners? No, I'm telling you that Israel is killing Israeli hostages by indiscriminately bombing every aspect of Gaza. I'm telling you that. Do you want to know why I'm telling you that? Because I listen to the fucking hostages that actually come back to Israel. And the thing that they almost always say is that they're more afraid of Israeli planes for understandable reasons than anything else. Israel also directly shot and killed 3 hostages point blank. Like, didn't just very publicly, Israel didn't just like kill a shit ton of hostages by indiscriminately bombing places where those hostages were. They also directly shot and killed 3 hostages. One of which was straight up fucking crying in Hebrew with a white flag saying, "Please don't kill me. I'm Israeli. I'm one of the good guys." They straight up shot 3 hostages point blank. So yeah, maybe you should, I don't know, do a little bit of fucking reading, dumbass. But once again, you are absolutely reaffirming the exact thing that I have mentioned time and time again. Zionists do not care about Israeli Jews. Zionists do not care about the safety and security of Jews even in Israel, let alone Jews in the Western world. It's all about death and destruction. Zionism is a fascist ideology. It is a supremacist ideology. It is one born out of, it is one that justifies death and destruction. The Golda Meir quote rings true. It's another case of projection. Israel will never be safe until Israelis, Zionists, learn to love their children more than they hate Palestinians. Okay? You have done nothing to change my mind that no amount of death toll under 1,000 will change my mind on the cost to save a hostage I will certainly be killing otherwise, and make excuses for October 7th doesn't change that. Yeah, I can't change your mind because there's nothing in there, dumbass. You are not listening to the things that I'm saying. Like, this is not a good thing, okay? You learned a couple things, though. You learned that Israel did shoot hostages point blank. Israeli hostages point blank. The only method of successful hostage extraction is through peace. I told you that Israel killed 3 hostages in the process of saving 4, and many others in the process of indiscriminately bombing all matter of Palestinian existence in Gaza. Told you that Israel directly shot Israeli Jewish hostages in Gaza, point blank, and that the most successful method of getting hostages out safely is through a ceasefire agreement, which Israel refuses to even deal with. So much so that even now we're having a conversation about how this is all Israel's own personal ceasefire negotiation supposedly is not being considered by Israel itself. I wonder why. You look at all those new information, you look at all the facts there, and you still think that at the top of the hour there is no 3-minute ad break. Okay, well, I can't convince you. I can't change your mind. There is a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. Okay, there's a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour no matter what. Unless you subscribe for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. Anne, biraz lütfen, biraz bağırma.